Well, first off, I'd like to say thanks to all you guys for being on today. And, we were excited yesterday, obviously, to start our official fall season. And, we were able for the first 2 weeks, return to activity, just getting the players back in shape. Really, Coach McMillan, our strength coach, and our trainer were in charge of them. We went 2 weeks of skill instruction and felt like we were able to start yesterday with a scrimmage. We'll try and scrimmage 4 days a week this fall, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and go 5 days a week for the next month here, finishing up October 23rd or 24th with the Maroon and White series. Very excited about our team. Feel like we've got a much older, experienced, balanced group, much like we did in 2015 and 16, just with the return of several fifth-year seniors, as well as probably 5 or 6 guys that we felt like we were going to lose to the draft last year, had it at least gone 10 rounds. And so we were fortunate to get those guys back. I know they, wanted to start a pro career, but the opportunity to come back and get close or finish their degree here at Texas A&M is a blessing in itself too. But those guys have done a great job leading us thus far. Thankful the weather worked out yesterday. Don't know if it's going to work out today, but I feel like the rest of the week will be great for us.
Coach, how intriguing do you expect the fall position battles to be, especially at catcher and the corner positions, infield and outfield, with looks like a lot of depth on paper?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for those guys each and every day to go and earn those jobs. And it's our job as a coaching staff to try to find a way to get all those bats in the lineup. And if that means some guys got to go to other positions, whether it's corner spot in the outfield and, the DH and trying to have all of those experienced, talented bats in the lineup, it's a good problem for us to have, and certainly serves as competition on a daily basis for them.
Coach, what's your outlook looking for the rotation heading into fall, and what's some guys to look out for as you're gearing up for that?
Yesterday we started 2 freshmen on the mound, Nathan Detmer out of San Antonio and Wyatt Tucker out of East Texas, Douglasville. And those guys, obviously it was their first time on the mound, a little revved up, but they were very impressive physically and with their stuff. Tomorrow we'll start Bryce Miller. He'll go against Will Johnston, and Will really came on this summer, had a nice summer. We're going to give Bryce the opportunity to start and see what that looks like throughout the course of the fall. Chandler Joswalk, Chris Weber will start for us on Thursday, and on Friday, Trevor Werner and Jonathan Childress will start. And, Moo Menifee's another guy that, we'll take a look at starting. So for us, it's really about, letting them go and pitch and battle throughout the fall, and whatever pieces fall into that starting puzzle, great. The other guys are going to make our bullpen that much deeper with certainly an awful lot of experience.
Kind of building off that, Coach, how difficult is it to make a transition from a closing role to a starting role like Bryce Miller is trying to do? And what'd you like from what you saw from him this summer with the Bombers?
Well, he went and got a taste of that starting this summer for those guys, and that's something that, Bryce, rather than having to go and get maybe the 3 best hitters in the lineup out in the 9th inning with, 1-run lead, he's going to have to go 2 and maybe 3 times through the lineup. So I think it's going to be that much more magnified that he's going to have to establish the fact that he can throw a changeup for a strike, not just to the left-handed hitters, but the right-handed hitters as well. He's obviously can be 93 to 98 miles an hour, but if I can pin my ears back 2-0 and know that I'm getting at it, I can hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball if I know I'm getting it. He's got to be able to land a changeup on occasion and pitch backwards throughout some of those spots when you go 2 and 3 times through the lineup. And he certainly has the ability to do that. It's just a matter of going out there and doing that.
Werner's
Coach,
got some incredible velo, Coach. Oh, sorry about that. Let me jump in real quick here. Werner's got some incredible velocity. What has your bullpen's been like with him? Has he been able to really – have you pitched him enough to know whether he can hold that velo maybe a second, maybe even 3rd time through the lineup?
That's a great question, Gabe. For us, we are making all of his throws be that as a pitcher. And, he's taken ground balls and done that with the position players, but we've limited his throws to where all of his throwing is going to be on the pitching side of things. Trevor has such an amazing gift with his arm and the ability to repeat his delivery, the ability to throw strikes and be mid to upper 90s. that we need to take a long, hard look at that guy as a starter for us. I mean, he is just so super talented, and still give him the opportunity to get the at-bats that he needs, because he's another guy that can be a force in the lineup and change games with one swing of the bat. So I want to see him being fresh week in, week out, arm-wise, and then we go out and give him a starting opportunity to see what that looks like as well, because, you know, he, like Bryce, has stuff that can make you feel pretty bad about yourself the next 48 hours after a Friday night, and we want to take a long, hard look at that as well.
Coach, I just wanted to ask about the atmosphere right now around the team, and does the start of fall practice have any more meaning this year? The fact that you guys had the season cut short and you're, after a long off season, back on the field?
I think so. I think our guys are so fired up just to be together, and throughout the 2 weeks for our return to activity, throughout the 2 weeks of our skill instruction, the guys are just happy to be around one another. So many times we play into June, they load their cars up, they go off to summer ball, and by the time they finish summer ball, they're loading their car up to come back to campus, and they're a little bit fried, and their batteries are recharged. They're excited. They're thankful. And especially the seniors that got an opportunity to come back are not taking anything for granted. So many times when you go through a fall, you feel like, I just got to get through the fall, especially if you're an older guy. But you can just feel the opening day intent, not just out of our freshmen that are going out for their first, practice officially yesterday, but for the older guys as well. They're just excited to be together, and I feel that in everything that we're doing. It's not just let's get through it, let's have some fun with it and enjoy the moment that we have together, because this COVID is so volatile up and down. Our guys have done a great job, knock on wood, of staying together, keeping everybody as a group together, and I don't think anybody's going to take anything for granted moving forward.
Coach, you got to see about a third of a season for transition to Coach Seeley and Coach Kaye running the offense. How much more comfortable are you now with all those guys being able to come back, and not only now they know a little bit of the offense, but they can impart it under your newcomers that are going to play in the field?
Well, I think you throw Cliff Pennington into that mix as well. And for so many of our position players being back, it's just they have hit the ground and picked up right where they left off. And the terminology, the routines, the practice routines, from an offensive standpoint, just been fun to see. I mean, guys like Mikey Honer and Bryce Blum and some of those other guys have just done a great job integrating our young guys. But it's not been, hey, let me introduce myself to you as a coach. This is my philosophy. This is what we want to do. Our guys understand that we want to play fast, and this is how we're going to go about it. And Coach Kaye, Coach Seeley, and Coach Pennington, to have all three of those guys back together again with so many returners back, it has been a blessing one day into practice. But throughout the last 2 weeks of skill instruction, it's been fun to just watch that pick up where we left off.
Rob, what are your expectations for some of these JUCO positional pieces and potentially adding some real thump in your lineup with the two kids from Grayson Thompson and Taylor Smith, and then the Sturgis kid from UTSA?
Well, and you can throw also Brett Minich into that group, who is from Penn. Brett is a big, strong, physical left-handed hitter, hit up an opposite field home run yesterday. Brian Sturgis is just a super hitter, super teammate, and has had great success. I think he hit 20 doubles and 10 home runs the year before at UTSA. And certainly Taylor Smith and Thompson, we got an opportunity to see up close and personal 2 years ago against Incarnate Word, and just two super talented kids. Taylor Smith is a physical, strong hitter with a great approach and great leadership qualities. And Jordan Thompson hit a 3-run homer against us a couple years ago that we still have that taste in our mouth. But, he's a wound tight little stick of dynamite that can run, and it's got some sock in the bat. So those guys were brought in to be impact players. And certainly with all the things that have gone on, getting so many players back, that has not changed. And I think that's just made competition better, and it will throughout the rest of the fall and into January.
A new wrinkle this season, Coach, are the fifth-year seniors that are coming back with the extra year of eligibility. What do you think the advantages are of having those super seniors and that added experience in both your staff and in the field?
Well, it just makes our coaching staff that much deeper. When you talk about guys like Hunter Coleman and Mikey Honer and Ray Alejo, those guys have seen it all. They've been through it all. They I think, have an understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished as a coaching staff. And they have such great high baseball IQ, and not just the baseball side of things, but they understand what young people are going through and experiencing the failures that they're going to experience throughout the fall. And they are just such great leaders to those young guys. And it doesn't have to be screaming and yelling. It's about spending time with them, putting their arm around them, and, saying, hey, I was going through this not too long ago. It's going to be okay. You're a good player and you belong here. But those three guys are a true blessing to have regardless of their age. But to have the experiences that they've gone through, and their care factor is so high for this program, and, for the young guys in it, it's a special thing for us as a staff.
Rob, with some uncertainty with what you're going to see as far as maybe weekend scheduling and how you're going to fit, your games in, when do you have to know how to, prepare for how many starting pitchers you may need next year and how that will play out?
Scott, I don't know the answer to that as to when we're going to have any direction in that regard. We still don't have a conference schedule yet. We have our non-conference schedule lined up, obviously, but our conference schedule is something that we don't have yet, and we'll continue to visit once a month as a conference as to what direction we're going to end up getting pointed to, as far as, are we going to play a conference only schedule? Is it going to be extended? Just what's going to happen? I think. And I don't know how other teams are in the league, but I feel strongly about our pitching. The experience back, certainly we don't have Asa Lacy and Christian Roa back, but we've got a lot of super talented guys back as well that, can put us in a position to win each and every game, and put us in a position to win each and every game late, regardless of who's at the back of the bullpen. So, when we find that out, I think we're just going to all have to deal with sudden change. And that's something all of us have learned to do for the last 4.5 months. Is sudden change is upon us, and we've got to deal with it and be able to, do what we're asked to do to the best of our ability. And we're certainly in a position to do that.
Rob, is Werner still a factor at short? And then what do you think of the Harrison kid, Targich? What do you think of your shortstop situation?
Trevor Werner, based on what we're going to ask of him at least this fall, as a pitcher, is probably going to be moved to a corner position. Ryan Targich is an ultra talented guy that will be at third base, switch hitter, strong physical kid's got a high baseball IQ. At shortstop, you'll see a young guy there, whether it's Kalai Harrison or Cade Murka, two true freshmen, two really talented guys that played short for us yesterday that, we're going to battle it out throughout the fall. I mean, they're both advanced with the glove, and, both very, very competitive kids that, both had really nice days yesterday. Had tough chances defensively and made every one of them. And I think Cade hit a double for us and in the first scrimmage. So it's good to see. And Kalai had a couple of really good at-bats. And those guys are very talented players, and one of those guys will win the job at shortstop.
Coach, it seems like the key word this Zoom so far has been competitiveness throughout fall. What does an ultra-competitive fall session do for your club moving into the spring?
Well, it's everything. That's what the fall is all about, and understanding what we're about to embark upon in the spring. Even we have some of the COVID freshmen that went through a season last year. They don't know what the SEC is all about. We got to that starting line, and they didn't get a chance to experience what a conference weekend's like. And, that's what we're trying to get them prepared for. And certainly our new hitters are going to get to face SEC frontline caliber pitching on a daily basis. And, they're going to have some good days and some bad days, and learning how to deal with those failures is what it's all about. And we've got some new pitchers that are super talented that are going to make great pitches. And, some of our veterans are going to hit them off the scoreboard, and being able to deal with that is what the fall is all about, and handling that failure. So, that's going to be every fall. That's what the most important thing for us to get out of it is.
Rob, how amazing has it been to see A.J. Minter become one of the best relievers in baseball this year, and then what Brooks has been able to do 7 years away from Major League Baseball, and what he's doing with the Astros?
I got called A.J. on his birthday probably 3 weeks ago, and we had a long talk just about how is it playing under COVID circumstances with nobody in the stands. And he said, you know what, Coach, it's a lot like going out in a fall scrimmage. There's nobody in the stands. It's about getting your work done, and that's kind of a blessing and a curse. You know, sometimes I feed off adrenaline, and other times I need to go out there and focus on making pitches, but I've just gotten off to a good start, and I'm confident and doing well. And he's continued to do that since we visited. And, you know, for Brooks lives in my neighborhood, and I've been able to keep up with him even when, you know, he was off in Korea. And, you know, his family has grown from 1 daughter to 3 daughters real quick. And I think this whole thing has been a blessing for Brooks and his family, that he got an opportunity to stay stateside and get an opportunity to start off with the Cincinnati Reds and, you know, be with his wife when she needed his help with 3 young daughters, and to get traded to Houston, the hometown team. His journey and his determination is something that I truly have always admired, even when he played for us. He's just so competitive, and it's not going to take, you know, that word or the answer, you know, the answer, he can't do something. He's going to go and do it. But, you know, and to get his first big league save the other day was a big deal. But it's been fun keeping up with him, and, you know, certainly now that he's around an awful lot more, just keeping in touch with him.